All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep into ancient China. We're talking about the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, one of the most famous stories.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Even if you're not a history buff or know anything about China, this story's got it all.
Yeah.
War, politics, betrayal.
Big personalities.
Huge personalities. And for this deep dive, we're going to be focusing on Chapter 4, which is really where the action starts to heat up.
Yeah, this chapter really sets the stage for the rest of the story. We see how ambition, loyalty, and just the brutality of the time all start to play out. And remember, this isn't just a history lesson. It's a story full of drama, betrayal, and moments that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's a wild ride for sure.
Yep.
So to set the scene, we're in the late Eastern Han Dynasty, and China is in turmoil. It's kind of like a giant puzzle falling apart, with different warlords all fighting for power.
Warlords all over the place.
And the emperor, who's just a kid, is basically a puppet for this ruthless warlord named Dong Zhuo.
Dong Zhu, is a key player here. He's a powerful general who has basically taken over the capital.
Calling all the shots.
He's ambitious, ruthless, and super paranoid.
Always looking over his shoulder.
Thinks everyone is out to get him.
And he's not exactly wrong to be paranoid. Right away, we see him clashing with his other powerful figure, Yuan Shao.
Yuan Shao comes from a very prominent family.
Yeah, a lot of respect.
Commands a lot of respect and power.
Dong Zhu sees him as a real threat.
Someone who could rally people against him.
Definitely a thorn in his side.
And this is where we see Dong Zhu's true character. He's impulsive and quick to resort to violence.
Wants to take Yuan Shao out right away.
Thinks it's the only way to hold on to his power.
Shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy.
Pretty much.
But luckily, he's got this advisor named Li Ru, who's a little more level-headed.
Li Ru, he's a smart guy, very cunning.
He tries to calm Dong Zhu down a bit.
He knows that killing someone as powerful as Yuan Shao would just create more problems.
More enemies?
Exactly, so he suggests a more strategic approach. Force Yuan Shao to flee.
So it's kind of like a game of chess. They're not trying to kill Yuan Shao outright, just get him out of the way.
Outmaneuver him.
Exactly.
Works. Yuan Shao senses the danger and decides to get out of dodge.
Smart move.
This escape might seem small, but it's a really big turning point in the story.
How so?
Well, it makes Dong Zhuo even more bold and ruthless.
Emboldened.
Exactly.
So Yuan Shao's out of the picture, at least for now. But Dong Zhuo is not satisfied. He sets his sights on an even bigger prize, the throne itself.
And this is where things get juicy. Dong Zhuo decides to depose the emperor, the rightful heir.
Who is just a kid, by the way.
Right, just a boy. And he replaces him with a puppet ruler, someone he can completely control.
Talk about a power move.
A bold move, for sure. And of course, not everyone's happy about it.
I bet.
There's outrage at court, but everyone is too terrified of Dong Zhuo to do anything.
I can imagine.
Except for one brave official named Ding Wan.
This guy's got guts.
Wan is a fascinating character. He represents the ideal of Confucian loyalty and righteousness.
Like in a principle?
Exactly. He's willing to risk his life to stand up for what he believes is right.
That takes courage.
He knows he's probably going to die, but he can't stay silent while Dong Zhuo destroys everything.
So he confronts Dong Zhuo directly.
And on.
Calls him out for being a traitor, and even tries to attack him.
Talk about a badass.
It's a powerful moment of defiance, but as you can imagine, it doesn't end well.
No, it doesn't. Dong Zhuo has him executed.
What a shame.
But Ding Wan's bravery inspires others to resist Dong Zhuo.
Yeah, he plants a seed of rebellion.
Exactly, and that's where another major player comes in. Cao Cao.
This guy is legendary.
Oh, yeah, Cao Cao. Arguably the most complex and fascinating character in the whole story.
Agreed.
At this point, he's a young official, seemingly loyal to Dong Zhuo, but underneath it all, he's plotting to assassinate him.
Wow, a real double agent.
And his plan involves a very special gift, a magnificent 7-jeweled sword.
Now, swords in ancient China weren't just weapons. They were symbols of power.
Prestige.
Right, so on the surface, this gift seems totally innocent.
But Cao Cao has an ulterior motive.
He sees it as his chance to get close to Dongzhuo.
And he gets his chance. He finds himself alone with Dongzhuo, supposedly to present the sword.
The tension must have been thick.
Oh yeah, you can cut it with a knife. Cao draws the sword, ready to strike.
Here we go.
But then he hesitates.
Why? What stops him?
It's a question that's been debated for centuries. Some say he was intimidated by Dongzhuo's size and strength.
Makes sense.
Others say he realized that a direct attack might fail.
A pragmatist.
Exactly. But whatever the reason, his hesitation is his undoing.
Oh.
Dongzhuo is immediately suspicious. He sees the reflection of the drawn sword in a mirror.
Busted.
Cao Cao has to think fast. He comes up with a story, claims he was going to give Dongzhuo the sword as a gift. But Dongzhuo isn't totally convinced.
The seed of doubt has been planted.
Exactly. Cao knows his cover is blown and he's got to get out of there.
He becomes a fugitive, on the run.
And as he's fleeing, he runs into someone who will change his life forever. Chen Gong.
This is where things get really interesting.
Chen Gong is a county official, a man of honor.
Another big player.
He represents a different side of the conflict.
We'll have to wait till next time to find out what happens next. This meeting between Cao Cao and Chen Gong is a turning point in the story. It sets up a very complex and uneasy alliance.
Definitely one for the history books.
So stay tuned. We'll be back soon to uncover more twists and turns from the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Can't wait.
So we left off with Cao Cao on the run, branded a traitor after that failed assassination attempt on Dongzhuo.
A very dangerous situation.
Yeah, he's basically jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire. Right?
Exactly. He's a wanted man. Dongzhuo's forces are searching everywhere for him.
And we're talking ancient China here. No cars or trains or anything like that.
Nope. Just miles and miles of open country.
Must have been a tough journey.
Absolutely. It was perilous, traveling on horseback, constantly looking over your shoulder.
Knowing that if you're caught, it's game over.
Exactly.
So how does he manage to survive?
Well, Cao Cao is a resourceful guy.
Clever.
He's constantly changing his appearance, using disguises, relying on his wits.
A real master of deception.
He's like a chameleon, adapting to every situation to stay one step ahead.
So tell me more about this encounter with Chen Gong. How does a county official end up joining forces with a fugitive like Cao Cao?
It's a fascinating turn of events. You see, Chen Gong is not your average official.
What do you mean?
He's not just following orders blindly.
I see.
He's a man of principle, deeply troubled by the corruption and injustice he sees around him.
Sounds like a good guy.
He is, and he's heard of Cao Cao's reputation.
As an ambitious up-and-comer.
More than that, he's heard about Cao Cao's desire to restore the Han dynasty.
To bring back order and stability.
Exactly, and that resonates with Chen Gong.
So there's already a kind of respect there, even before they meet.
I think it's more than just respect. Chen Gong sees in Cao Cao a potential savior, someone who can actually make things better.
Someone who can stand up to Dongzhuo.
Exactly.
But he still arrests Cao Cao, right?
He does. Cao Cao walks right into a trap. He has no idea that Chen Gong is onto him.
Talk about bad luck.
It's a tense moment. Cao Cao is caught red-handed. Looks like it's all over for him.
But then something unexpected happens.
Right. Instead of turning Cao Cao in, Chen Gong does something incredible.
What does he do?
He listens to Cao Cao's plea, his vision for a better future for China.
And he's convinced.
He sees the passion in Cao Cao's eyes, the conviction in his words.
Wow, what a leap of faith.
It is. He's risking everything.
Right.
His career, his reputation, maybe even his life.
All at a hunch.
But that's Chen Gong. He's a man of action. He's willing to put his ideals above his own safety.
So they team up, two unlikely allies on a dangerous mission.
It's the beginning of a very complex partnership.
But their journey is far from over.
No, they're still on the run. Danger lurks around every corner.
And Cao Cao's paranoia is only getting worse.
Right. All this stress and fear starts to take its toll.
He's seeing enemies everywhere.
even when there are none.
And this is where the story of Lubosh comes in, right?
Yes, Lubosh is a close family friend, like an uncle to Cao Cao,
They decide to seek shelter at his house.
thinking they'll be safe there.
But this is where Cao Cao's paranoia leads him to do something terrible.
A very dark moment in the story.
Tell me more about what happened.
Well, they arrive at Lubosh's house late at night, and Lubosh is overjoyed to see them.
Makes sense, old family friend.
He immediately starts preparing a feast in their honor.
Sounds like a good host.
But Cao Cao is exhausted, on edge, his mind is racing.
Still in survival mode?
Exactly, and he misinterprets the sounds coming from the kitchen.
What kind of sense?
Whispers, the clanging of knives, things like that.
Oh no.
He convinces himself that Lubosha is planning to betray him.
Oh, this is bad.
He tells Chen Gong that they're about to be attacked.
They're panicking,
They draw their swords and storm into the house.
ready to fight.
And they attack everyone in sight.
This is a massacre.
It's a brutal and senseless act of violence, fueled by fear and paranoia.
Lubosh and his entire family.
Everyone.
This is a turning point for Cao Cao, right?
It reveals the darkness that lies within him.
And for Chen Gong, it must have been a devastating blow.
Absolutely. The man he thought was a hero, a savior, is capable of such horrific things.
What a betrayal of trust.
And to make matters even worse, they soon discover their terrible mistake.
What do you mean?
The sounds that Cao Cao had misinterpreted, the whispers and the clanging, it was just Lubosh and his servants preparing the feast.
Oh no, they were getting ready to welcome them.
Exactly. It was a gesture of hospitality, not a threat.
This is a tragedy.
It is. They've just murdered innocent people, friends of Cao Cao's family, for absolutely no reason.
It's hard to imagine the guilt and remorse they must have felt.
It's a heavy burden to bear.
So what happens next?
That's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. The alliance between Cao Cao and Chen Gong is shaken to its core. The blood of Lubosh stains their hands, a constant reminder of the darkness that's lurking within Cao Cao.
Last time, we left Cao Cao and Chen Gong grappling with that horrific Luboshi incident.
Yeah, just a terrible, senseless act.
The guilt, the weight of their actions, it's got to be crushing.
Absolutely. It's a defining moment for both of them.
Especially for Cao Cao.
Definitely. We see his true nature exposed.
That paranoia, that ruthlessness.
He's willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants, even if it means sacrificing innocent lives.
And for Chen Gong,
It's a huge blow.
I mean, the guy risked everything to join Cao Cao, believed in him.
And now he sees this monstrous side.
What a betrayal.
It really shatters the image of the noble hero he might have had of Cao Cao.
So what does he do? Does he walk away?
He's torn, you know.
I bet.
He's disgusted by what Cao Cao did, but he still believes in their mission.
That desire to restore the Han Dynasty.
Right, he sees the potential in Cao Cao, but he's also deeply troubled by this darkness.
It's that age-old dilemma, right? Principles versus pragmatism.
Exactly.
Do you stick to your ideals even if it means giving up on something bigger?
Or do you compromise for the greater good?
Tough call.
It is, and ultimately Chen Gong decides to stay with Cao Cao.
At least for now.
Right, but their relationship is forever changed.
Damage.
There's a tension between them now, a lack of trust.
Like a ticking time bomb. You just know it's going to explode at some point.
It makes you wonder, what if Chen Gong had left?
Would things have been different?
Would Cao Cao have gone down a different path?
Hard to say.
But one thing's for sure, this incident, it changes Cao Cao.
Yeah, it's like a turning point.
His ambition and paranoia, they start to consume him.
His humanity takes a backseat.
Sadly.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into Chapter 4, The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, we're left with a lot of questions, right? Cao Cao and Chen Gong, they're on this mission together, but their bond is fractured.
It's a reminder that even with good intentions, the choices we make can have terrible consequences.
And as we continue exploring this epic tale, we'll see how those choices play out, shaping the fate of an empire and the lives of so many people. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
We'll be back soon to explore more of the Three Kingdoms, so stay tuned.